Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, this one is going to hit home, touch bases on a little bit of a more personal level. I'm also going to be going over a trade breakdown from today, showing you guys how I made $600 and why I'm even talking about this. And the reason why I'm making this video is particularly because I see so many people on the internet right now complaining and suffering, unable to afford everyday average goods, living paycheck to paycheck, complaining about their income. But I see nobody actually doing anything about it. They're always just complaining. They're always saying how they can't afford something, how groceries are too expensive, how inflation's killing them, how gas prices are too high. But nobody's actually taking the initiative and the proactive steps to get themselves out of financial turmoil by committing themselves to just, let's say, understanding the markets better. The elite entities that are in control of this world gave each and every single person on this planet, at least here in the United States, I guess, because at the end of the day, I can't speak for other countries, um, the ability to trade these financial markets through solid understanding and building a foundation principle to really situate yourself on the right side of the markets with nothing but a mobile device and an internet connection. And if you're not taking advantage of that, but you're the type of person that is complaining about not being financially successful because of your circumstances, again, sometimes our circumstances are out of our hand, right? The way that we were brought up, our family, the environment in which we were born into, but you can take initiative and you can change that for the better through proper education, through joining a like-minded community, and through trial and error and belief in yourself and your own ability to understand these markets and come out on top. And so in today's video breakdown, I just want to do a little bit of a motivational speech because there's so much misery right now. And I'm here, so is my community. I mean, individuals in my community, like for example, there's an individual in my community, his name is Brandon, right? There's going to be an interview that drops on the YouTube platform. He's trading over $3.5 million in capital right now because of some of the information that we provide here in CYPRX. The delta zones, accurate technical analysis, sound and logical fundamental understanding in the assets in which we trade. And he's using that to his advantage to take him and his family out of financial turmoil and supersede the masses, right? Is now a multi millionaire managing $3.5 million in capital. Okay. And he did all that through believing in himself, joining a community like ours, one that puts out valuable information, and actively applying himself to the markets and understanding that we here, as manual retail investors, have the ability to tap into trillions of dollars, but you have to want it for yourself. So I'm going to start off before I get into the breakdown. Here's a video clip this morning, by the way, of me trading with my daughter on my lap this morning, making about $600 for the day. You drawing, big girl? Yeah. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm making hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day because I'm not. I manage a multi six-figure FX and crypto portfolio, and I make a couple of $1,000s per week. And I'm comfortable with that. That has suited my lifestyle. It's allowed me to free myself financially. It's allowed me to live a life where I get to see my girls every single day, can pretty much do whatever I want. If I don't want to trade, if I do want to work for the day, I can. If not, then so be it. I have plenty of money to choose to do so. What I'm trying to get you guys to see is that lifestyle can be created, but you have to put in effort. You have to not give up on yourself. You have to understand that this is not a game. This is not a joke, and you can make a difference in your life, right? So I want to share with you guys a segment and a portion. By the way, if you're still here listening and I'm hitting home with you, okay, real recognize real. And the individuals that understand the realness in my voice and what I'm trying to convey, we're not here to try to get you to sign up for our course. If you want the education, yes, it's a fee, because myself and the other mentors at CYPRX have busted our butts to pump this content out for you guys. And we're consistently spending time at our computers and hours of our personal time to do this for you guys. So yeah, we charge a fee. But if you want access to the valuable information that we provide in our community, it's there for you, but you have to want that for yourself. So this is one of my most favorite books. As a Man Thinketh, highly suggest that you read it, regardless if you're a man or a woman or you identify as something else, whatever, read this book. This book will change your entire perspective on not only life, but motivate you to want more for yourself, your family, your friend group, and just excel your mentality forward. So here we're just going to read a little bit of a segment before we jump into today's breakdown. Do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe, by the way. Okay. Godlike character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the neutral result of continued effort and right thinking, the effect of long cherished association with godlike thoughts. An ignoble and bestial character, by the same process, is the result of continued harboring of groveling thoughts. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. Right? So when I come on the internet and I just made $600 in the day, last week I made a video clip of making, I don't know, it was like $2,500 or $3,000 in a day. It's not so that way I'm bragging and boasting to you guys, because I know it's not a lot of money, but it's much more money than the average person makes going to a 9-to-5 job, sacrificing 70 hours per week. What kind of life is that? People, come on now. Nobody deserves that. Nobody deserves that. I used to live a life like that. Right when I got out of the military, I was a contractor. I spent 2-3 weeks away from my family, going to different job sites, never seeing my kids, and always being away from home, making $800 a week. I came to the realization after the 2000, and I don't know, what was it, 2020 bull market cycle, right? That was not the life I wanted to live. So I sold some of the Bitcoin that I had. I paid off my debt and I committed myself towards a life of progress and understanding these markets, and it paid off, right? Hours upon hours of research. It's going to take it. It's going to take you the time to understand these markets. It's going to take loss after loss after loss. But through trial and tribulation, you learn, you critique those errors, you fine tune those mistakes that you're making, and you become better. But you have to want that for yourself. I've never portrayed the message to you guys that trading or investing is easy, because it is not. It is one of the hardest things that you will ever do in your entire life if you want to take it on head on. But for those that do prevail, for those that believe in themselves, for those that join like-minded communities that actually put out valuable information, they take that information and they use it to their benefit, you can come out on top. Okay. So now that the first part of the spiel is over, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Man, it just sucks. I hate seeing people suffer. And I don't know if that's just the human nature in me and what it is that I've attempted to do with my career the entirety of my life, which is help build people up, both physically, mentally, financially, all of the above. I cannot stand to see people suffer, right? I see posts like this where this young lady goes on to say, I'm in my 20s right now. I want a house, I want kids, and I want to get married, but it seems so financially out of reach. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Don't be this type of person that is on the internet complaining about things that are not necessarily out of their control, but the circumstances in which they're currently in, instead of actively doing something about change this. Imagine if all the time that she spent getting all dialed up for this video, you can clearly see she has her nails done, so she's spending money on her nails or either doing them herself, which takes time. Imagine if all the time that she put into doing her nails, putting her earrings in, getting her makeup on, getting her nails done, getting in front of the camera and complaining, she spent that same amount of time joining the CYPRX community and going through hours upon hours of the research that we have committed ourselves to as mentors to provide for you all as students, digested that information, and actively applied herself to the markets. She would not be sitting there complaining about the world financially, because she would be coming out on top like many other like-minded individuals that have joined the CYPRX community. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Regardless if you join the CYPRX community or not, I'm just trying to get you guys to see a point here, okay? You don't have to suffer. If you are suffering, it is by choice. Again, if you are suffering, it is by choice. I get it. Some people's circumstances are different from others. But if you continue to choose a path of suffering, it is by choice. When there is an option out there for you all to succeed financially, it just takes effort. It takes time. It takes determination. It takes commitment. And a lot of people, I understand, don't have that. But there is no reason for you all not to start. Okay? So moving on, I just want to break down this trade for you guys. Like I showed you all, $600 today, literally with my daughter sitting here drawing. Here's scribbles on my lap. Here's her scribbles from today. Okay? It's such a blessing to wake up in the morning and know that I don't have to leave my girls, that they can chill. They're homeschooled, you know, and they're in my environment and I can make money from nothing but my internet connection and my laptop. Okay. So I want to break this down for you guys. I want to talk about the trade idea today. I want to talk about how I caught this move. Real simplistic. I'm not going to break it down in too much detail. I did for the students this morning in the CYPRX Zoom call. And I just want to get you guys to see all the juice that we give here, right? So that you can see that you have access to this juice, so you choose to tap into it. Let's start with the institutional delta zones. These are institutional trading levels that nobody in the retail space has access to right now. We are the only community right now via our institutional scalper with inside our Discord that has access to these levels. And look at how accurate they are. So September 9th, by the way, as of time of recording this video, is the 10th of September, the day after that this message was sent by our institutional scalper at 7:13 a.m. Monday. You guys can see the timestamp right there. Okay. Our institutional scalper sent over these delta zones. And you can see here some of the delta zones that price was at when he sent this message yesterday on Monday was at the 1039, 1.30800. And we were looking at an area of interest down here, these yellow deltas of the 1.30485 and the 1.30386 for better buys on GBP USD. Let's go over to the charts. And I just want to show you guys yesterday on Monday, when Institutional Scalper sent those delta zones out to our private community. This is Monday's price action here. You can see that price was hovering above the second area of interest, i.e. these delta zones, right? This is how accurate these delta zones are. Look at how price from one delta to the next literally dropped straight down into the bottom delta, which again, we had access to well in advance before the manual retail traders out there. All that was left for us to do was gauge fundamentals properly and wait for a sound technical analysis setup. Now, in the private CYPRX Discord, so that's number one, you guys have access to institutional delta zones, not just in forex, because I know a lot of people don't trade forex. If you're still watching this and you're a crypto investor, let's say you're a dollar cost averager, that's it. Well, you got XRP delta zones, right? Boom, right there. You got H-bar delta zones in the CYPRX community. I mean, heck, you have over 1,000 delta zones, because in the private CYPRX community, if you're a member, you can go in and you can ask our institutional scalper to type you out or give you delta zones for any pair that you want access to, right? So technically speaking, your potential is unlimited, right? Now, not only that, but we have PDFs and fundamental breakdowns going over technical analysis setups and plays, what to look for when price comes into or rejects a delta zone. Hundreds upon hundreds. I mean, literally, if you just scroll up to the top, hundreds of breakdowns, PDFs, okay? Breaking down step-by-step technical analysis and what to look for when price comes into the deltas. Now, the type of setup that I personally look for that I've covered on previous calls is I look for, let me just break this down for you guys real fast before we get into the trade setup, is I look for a pre-engineered low in the market, I look for a sweep of lows, and I look for a bullish shift in momentum. That means a previous break in market structure, and I look for higher low, higher high formations to look for entries over to the right-hand side. Once I get this type of price pattern, I then know buyers are in control of price temporarily, and I look for scalp positions because I'm an intraday scalper, right? This, in combination, when you see these types of setups at delta zones, give you so much more of a higher probability to take trade positions in your favor. Not only that, but another thing that we have in the CYPRX community is our sound understanding of fundamentals. What creates demand or lack of demand for certain assets that we trade? We focus on crypto, and the forex pairs that we focus on are GBP USD, GBP JPY. And for commodities, we focus on gold. We also have futures traders in our group, like the NAS, right? Like oil, so on and so forth. Okay, so we cover a whole multitude of things, but our focus on GBP USD has been primarily the divergence between the two central banks. The reason for the demand for the Great British Pound over the past consecutive couple of trading weeks has been primarily driven by the fact that the market is pricing in that the Fed is going to cut rates at a much more rapid pace than the Bank of England, which has created more demand for the Great British Pound and less demand for the dollar. That precedence or that sentiment still holds weight. And so today in our fundamental report, we were still paying attention to that, which is again another confluence that led us to buying the Great British Pound against the dollar. You can see here, I have highlighted, just so you can see that we were touching on this. The current market is pricing in a slower pace of rate cuts from the Bank of England compared to the Fed. right? This is another confluence that we had stacked to give us confidence to buy the Great British Pound against the dollar. What I'm attempting to show you guys, not necessarily how easy it is, but how you all, if you want to tap into this information, have the ability to gather a certain set of accurate confluences without relying on stupid indicators that retail traders are trying to sell you, without relying on magic Fibonacci price predictions that retail traders are trying to convey to you that actually matter in this market. Okay. You guys have valid information. You guys have institutional delta zones. You have mentors, 3 of them, that will help you out understand this stuff if you just reach out and ask questions. And this is all available inside our private community. Yes, there's a paywall. Yes, you're going to have to pay to get into our community, but that's because we spend hours upon hours doing this for you guys so that way you all don't have to do it yourselves, right? I think that that's a fair value exchange. And those that understand real recognize real and understand that. And I'm telling you right now in our private community, people are benefiting. Okay. Once we get to the end of this, matter of fact, I'll let some of the CYPRX reviews roll through at the end. Matter of fact, we have over 50 of them, and I'll let them all roll. I hardly ever share them, but at the end of this video, you stick around to the end. I'll let them roll in the video reel, so that way you guys can just read through some of them. Okay. Now back to the charts. Remember what I mentioned. What I like to see. I like to see a sweep of lows, a break in market structure, and I like to see pullback scenarios to get into discounted buy positions. Keep in mind, we had these delta zones way before they actually came into fruition. So back here when price was up, right, roughly around the 1.309, we knew an area of interest to be looking for buy positions, right? You guys can see those deltas here. All that was left for us to do was to be patient and wait for price to come into a discount. On the 15-minute chart, excuse me, I'm not going to edit any of this out. Let me just get some water real quick. On the 15-minute chart, once price discounted itself and dropped down into those deltas, all that was left for us to do was look for those setups that we talked about in the form of all the PDFs that we have breaking down different setups that happen around deltas. That's all that was left for us to do. And you can see right down here, plain and simplistic, zooming into price action, we can clearly see the type of setup because there's multiple different types of setups. You have to understand that, but you have to adjust to the type of setup you like to look for as a trader. Okay. I like to see a sweep of lows. Here we can see that right here. We like to see a low pre-engineered into the market. Interestingly enough, it was right above the delta. Price comes straight down into the delta, rejects it. We see buyer's interest. That buyer's interest was enough demand on the Great British Pound to break a previous bearish market structure lower high. This now signals to me that buyers are interested in this price action or these certain specific psych levels, keeping in mind that you have to, let's just back up. Financial institutions, large hedge funds, asset managers, these large banks, they're not trading off of TradingView. They're not trading off of candlesticks or Fibonacci's or indicators, moving averages, RSIs, all this bullcrap. They are specifically trading from level to level in the form of psychological key levels, round psychological levels, and time increments. When you understand that, all this stuff doesn't matter to you and you really start to tap into the stuff that we're providing here at CYPRX. So I saw that the market makers were buying at roughly around the 1.30490 flat, and that was enough demand to break previous sellers. Once the market pulled back, I said to myself, okay, if we create a higher low here and we see buyers come back into the market, that means buyers overpower sellers. I'm going to be confident enough to risk my capital, buying at a discount, and again, target logical areas of interest. So sure enough, we can see here is a break in market structure. This is where you then take your Fibonacci from the low to the high that broke a previous bearish market structure, lower high. And you can see price came straight down into our sweet spot of the 79% retracement, and buyers held and gained momentum. This is a clear bullish reversal. This is exactly what we look for at delta zones, which again, I just showed you guys in our Delta education section. We have literally hundreds of screenshots and PDFs going over what type of setups we like to see. This is clear as day, clear as day. Buyers' interest back in control, failure to create a new swing low in the market. And instead, the market makers came in, showed buyers' interest, created a higher low, which led to a higher high formation. All that was left for me to do was put a buy stop. I simply placed a buy stop. Nice tight stop loss beneath the low. And I simply zoomed out and I targeted previous highs where over leveraged sellers most likely had open positions in the form of these previous lower highs. Simple 1 to 3, 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. All we're looking for in and out of the market. Sound, simple CYPRX and institutional confluences. I don't know what else to show people to get them to see that you don't have to be suffering financially. Now, again, this is just a general scratch of the surface. I barely broke down this trade. I just simply talked about how the market broke structure, pulled back in a discount, and that gives us the signal to look for buying opportunities after price has come down into a delta zone, rejected it, shown buyers interest, while at the same time, on the fundamental side of things, it's supporting the narrative to be buying the Great British Pound and not the dollar, right? All of these things combined and stacked along with your own personal belief system in yourself to succeed in these markets, manage your risk properly, and take a mature approach gives you the edge. And when you understand that not only do you have that ability, but every other single human being that believes in themselves does, you stop becoming the victim and you start becoming a successful individual. Even if you're losing, you understand that you have the potential to change your circumstances. And that is powerful. So, the reason why I wanted to make this video breakdown is not to show you guys that I made $600. It's not to show you guys that I'm a profitable trader. And it's not to get here and try to sell you into our Discord. If you want access to it, if you want access to any of the material that we provide, it's available to you. This video breakdown was primarily to get you to understand that you don't have to be suffering. And if you are suffering, it is by choice. Not necessarily, and let me rephrase that. If you continue to choose a life of suffering, it is by choice, right? If you know you're suffering right now, and I've just shown you ways in which if you commit yourself to proper education, you commit yourself to learning, discipline yourself, take a proactive approach, you can change your circumstances. If you continue to live with your current circumstances, that is by choice. No one can help you at that point. You have to want this for yourself, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video breakdown, touching base on, quick, simple scalp in the morning. Today's, I don't even know what freaking day it is. Tuesday, we got CPI, PPI tomorrow. Probably won't trade unless we see some really good trade setups, but $600, right? I could close out my positions, be done for the week, not trade anymore. And I made $600. Most people will go work 40 hours this week alone to make that income. I made it this morning in 15 minutes. Okay. Many blessings to you guys. I cannot stress enough. Now is the time to persevere with your education. Now is the time to join a community that's not here to sell you gimmicks in hopes that you're going to be the most successful Lamborghini gold chain wearing trader in the world. No, because that is not the truth. That is a smokescreen that retail gurus on the internet will portray to you. Here at CYPRX, we pump out value education every single day, every single session, every single week, every single month, and people are benefiting. So with that being said, many blessings to you guys. Make sure that you're subscribed to the platform. We do appreciate the love and the support. Smash that thumbs up button, and I will see you all in the next video breakdown.